Now, there's a broken fader in here. If I can show where that is. Yeah, this one, the top is pulled away. Now, if that's not actually cracked, I might be able to repair that one. Let's try bending these tabs out a little bit. What's in there? Yeah, I think I might just replace that. So while I've got the circuit board off, I'm going to take out the screws that hold this in. Turn the power off too. Okay, I've got these replacement pots, which are drop-in replacement by size and holes and everything. These are made by Alpha. But the pin numbering and arrangement is a little bit different. The numbering is actually the same, but the arrangement is different. And I believe, no, actually these pots are not numbered. The older DMXs had numbers for each pin like these do. 1, 2, and 3. There are 2 of the pin 2 pins. And so what you want to do is make sure that you get those corresponding when you replace one of them. Okay, here's an old DMX pot. I have this so I can show you the pin numbers. And actually these are different from these also. So I might have to experiment to make sure I get this in the right way. But anyway, the old DMX pot like this one, I can see that this is pin 1 here. No, this is pin 1. This is pin 2. And this is pin 3. Sorry. Pin 3 and a second version of pin 2. So pin 2 has 2 contacts. That's actually the common metal strip that the slider passes up and down on. So electrically they're the same. Pin 2 there. It's just a 0 ohm resistance between the two. And then this is one end of the resistance element, and that's the other end of the resistance element. So when we take this out, I'm going to look and see what the corresponding pins are. The common pin up here with the ground wire running across all the pots, that's one end of the resistance element on this pot. And then at the other end we have the wiper connected to what would be pin 2, and the other wire is the top end of the resistance element. So we have to make sure we get these two in the right orientation. That one's pretty easy. So I'm going to unsolder the wires from the old pot. It's pretty easy, they just pop right out. This top wire that runs through all the pots, I end up just cutting that, and I'll patch it up later when I reinstall the new pot. And unsolder that part. for curiosity's sake, I will open this up, bending up all the tabs. And have a look inside. Okay, there's the slider part. You can see it's got a little metal part with wipers that slide up and down the two halves of the pot. One of these, I believe, is a very low resistance metal strip, and the other is the resistance element. And you can see it goes from one terminal to the other terminal, whereas this one only has one terminal at this end. So this is the common part, this, where the slider attaches. So that is the wiper contact right there, and as we turn that over, we can see the wiper is on the right side as we look at it. So that's, this wire is the one that goes to the wiper part of the pot. So I'll take my new pot, and I'm going to want pin 2, which is the wiper, to be close to this wire, and I'm going to want to go that way. May not matter, except it'll end up on the right side if I do it this way. So I'm going to put it in like this. And I'll use the old screws, which should fit. We'll just get that nice and snug in there. Okay. That looks good. So pin 2 is the wiper, and that's supposed to be there, I think. We'll solder that back in. And we'll put that one at pin 3. And then we're going to want this common wire to go to pin 1, which is this lower one, not this top one. That's part of the wiper. We don't want that up there. So now, since I cut the wire, it's a little bit short. So I'm going to grab an old resistor lead and just pop that in there to kind of join everything together. I might even put a little hook in the end. Make it hold on a little better. And clamp that around one end of the wire. I'll solder that half. And then I can these together a little bit. If they're touching, I can solder them together. And that should be good. So let's give that a try. That's the metronome. So if we go into record mode, you should be able to hear that. And it gets quieter and all the way to nothing at that end. And then nice and loud there. So that means the pot's hooked up right. And it's working. So that's good. Okay. So all the pots appear to be working. All the buttons are good. So I'm going to clear out any remaining dust up here and put it back together. Line up the holes. Hope you didn't lose any of the nuts. And I like to get them all started first and then tighten them down. All 15 of them. If you drop one, it helps to have a magnetic screwdriver. Where was I? Up here. The last one. Got that driver. If you don't have one of these, I really recommend getting one. It's so much nicer than trying to use long nose pliers or a wrench or something. Find you're tightening them and it just keeps going and going, make sure you didn't lose the spacer under the board, because you'll end up bending the board and maybe cracking traces. So that's not good. So make sure all the spacers are there before you get started, if possible. Be snug but not ridiculous. Okay. machine has some memory problem. I have to keep clearing the memory. But now all the buttons work at least. Now we put the knobs back. And they should fit such that they don't want to fall off. Sometimes you'll get one that's loose and you can do a little trick with a piece of tape over the metal part. Tighten it up a little bit. But these all seem easy pretty good. And there you have it.